is Gwynplaine, the title character of The Man Who Laughs? Nowadays in pop culture, Gwynplaine is known as that guy who inspired the creation of the Joker, but Gwynplaine and the Joker, their physical appearance is pretty much all they have in common, and the fact that they each embody different aspects of the clown archetype. The Joker can embody a pretty dark element of that archetype, depending on which version of the Joker we're talking about. Gwynplaine, meanwhile, is more the tragic clown figure, the brooding philosopher, the tragic poet. Think less Joker and more Arthur Fleck before Arthur snaps and becomes the Joker. Gwynplaine has been through a lot of trauma in his life. He was disfigured as a child and then left in a snowstorm by the men who disfigured him. But thankfully, he is able to find a found family. While in the snowstorm, he comes across a mother who has died in the storm and her little baby girl who's barely alive. So Gwynplaine takes the little girl with him, and together they find shelter with the philosopher Ursus. And Ursus takes in the children and raises them as his own. He names the little girl Dea, which is Latin for goddess, and Ursus teaches them both everything he knows about philosophy and human nature. And given those lessons, it's a miracle that Gwynplaine and Dea both grew up to be optimistic, compassionate souls, because Ursus's outlook on life when we first meet him, he's pretty much a misanthrope, although taking in the two children and raising them softens his heart. But Ursus doesn't have much faith in humanity at the start, and he teaches that to Gwynplaine and Dea. And Gwynplaine, in spite of knowing how harsh people can be and learning from Ursus also how harsh they can be, Gwynplaine is still able to empathize with people, even the crowds that laugh at him, even the people who are even more less fortunate than he, a disfigured clown, is. Gwynplaine often wonders what can be done for the poor, what can be done for the less fortunate, and Ursus is like, dude, just shut up and smile, shut up and make them laugh. Stick to being a clown, Gwynplaine, because your philosophy, your wisdom will do you no good. That head of wisdom will do you no good if it ends up on a spike on London Bridge. Ursus, in spite of giving Gwynplaine the tools to be a philosopher and to spread wisdom, is very cautious about doing so because Ursus himself got into hot water with trying to spread his own philosophy. He spent time in Bedlam. We don't know why necessarily, but it's implied that it was because Ursus himself spoke out against the injustices committed by the aristocracy. So now Ursus is like, dude, just make the people laugh. Just stick to being a clown. That's enough. That will uplift the people. Stick to that. But Gwynplaine feels like he's called to more in life, and he feels he gets that chance once his past is revealed and he realizes that he is actually the long-lost son of Lord Clancharlie and that he actually has all the powers of an aristocrat. So that's Gwynplaine. He has a heart of gold. He's a kind, compassionate soul who just happens to inherit both the role of the clown and the role of the philosopher, the role of the disgraced nobleman's son. And Gwynplaine's a wonderful guy, and he is so much more than just that guy who inspired the creation of the Joker. But what are your thoughts on him?